big way to start out your season with a nice win last week. You got a tough opponent this coming up week, but just kind of recap what was successful for the team last week, what you're growing off of before we move forward.
Right, sure. Certainly, pleased with the win. It was a very physical, long camp. All right, so the guys were ready to play against another opponent. A lot of good things. Certainly, a lot of good things, and I'll talk about those. Those first. It's good to see Dresser come back out and have some success. Very pleased with that. It was good to see. We talked about having 3 new starters on that offensive line and playing without Hatchie on Saturday. So really pleased with that offensive line group and tight end group, and Josiah getting his first start at the center and doing a nice job there. Seeing Zach Wallace, run through some tackles and make some plays. So those are some good things. Seeing Smoot get involved in the offense and catching a couple touchdowns. Good to see Peyton. I wish I could say Peyton Logan again. Good to see Colton Dowell, back out there. Colton Dowell's missed, almost all camp with a hamstring. So to see him be productive was good to see. On defense, John Ford had a shoulder injury and been out. Had his baby boy and healthy last week, so he's been out. But to see him get in there, to get 13 tackles, and Rob Hicks with 10 tackles, that was good to see. See O'Shea Baker, adjust that safety position, and was very pleased with O'Shea, not only the safety position, but catching as our returner too, making good decisions, and blocking a field goal. And we blocked 2 kicks. Ty Woods got 1. So that was good to see. Lewis, his first game with us, having the 2 interceptions and stuff. So a lot of good things from some good established players, and so that was pleased with that. Some things that were glaring that it's got to be work on. Need to improve on some things, sustaining blocks, better communication at the line of scrimmage. Offensively, there were some things that were left out there. Defensively, there's some, we're not very satisfied, playing a complete game. There were some spots where we're dominating, but, left ourselves in some man coverage situations and didn't play it very well, and got a personal foul that on a 3rd down that extended the drive, and they scored 2 plays later. So I thought there was, certainly some room, some improvement there as we go and play, stiffer competition going forward.
You've got a new season coming up here now, but, and it's the teams you played in the playoffs last year. What are the similarities between Missouri State from last year?
Off the tape, they look like they're, maybe even better than they were last year. They've adjusted some things schematic-wise. The quarterback's back, so you got another year, more experience. The receiver had a big game for them. Defensively, they play the 4-man front, and they, really rush the passer, and they're physical up front, and they've modified some things in some coverage areas and done a good job. So I'm not so sure that, just looking at it from my eyes, I'm not sure what they think, but, to me, they look better than they did last year when we got to go in there and play. We're not certainly where we were last year. We've got a ways to go to get there. But, and we're going on the road again. But it'd be a great test for us, be a great opportunity to grow with some, a regional, recognition game, maybe national, from an FCS level. So, our kids will be excited.
Only 3 penalties the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that surprised you first game out of the gate?
Well, I think the officials let us play. I think that was probably number 1, and then number 2, give our kids and our coaches credit on that. That was, now you've kind of eliminated some things the way we, like on possession and 10, we huddle out there on the field. So you're taking that 25-second clock out of it. Not a huge shift in motion team at times. At least the other night we were not. So when you're trying to play with a little tempo and one-word calls and stuff, that makes you play faster. So you take that out of it. The other night didn't deviate the snap count as much as we'll have to going forward because of some different things. So some of those things were intentful, trying to eliminate those, but give the kids credit and the officials credit for letting us play, of keeping our hands inside and understanding the new cut rule and those type of things. Mhm.
just talk about your memories of last year at Missouri State.
Mhm.
And winning, and one of the bigger wins in the program's history.
Oh, certainly.
Just your memories of that and what that meant for this program.
Yeah, the first memory I have is our equipment staff. We didn't pack the headsets, so that was the first thing, and I didn't find that out until right before the game. And
Headsets?
well, no, we borrowed some. One of our coaches had a friend at a local university that let us borrow theirs, so that was kind of embarrassing and frustrating. But they did show up at halftime. We had somebody drive them up there, so that was the first thing. Second thing is, you get the 6 turnovers. I mean, obviously that played a huge part in the game. Playing with Dresser with a hurt ankle and Donnell being the only established receiver, and he's out there in a knee brace. But we looked really fast that game. Both teams did. We looked like we belonged in those playoffs, and so it was very, good memory. Unfortunately, they have no bearing on this week's, but no, that game was one. It was pretty fun last night seeing Fufu. He was back last night. He was here in town. He stopped by one of our former linebackers and say hello, and he was the one that had the last pick there to seal the game and stuff. And not that we talked about that, but that'd be something just kind of goes unsaid when you see each other years to come.
Kind of on that, when you look at this week's game with them, does it help in preparation? You won't really know the mentality of it. Do you think it helps in preparation, one, that you went there and won last year, and two, this is kind of a regular week. It's Thursday,
Mhm.
but it's a regular schedule.
Yeah, it's still early in the year. The Thursday is still a little different because of the camp. Camp is long and tiring, and you're always worried about you being tired. The first game, and we kind of strategically gave them kids off Friday, and Friday they were in for a short period of time. We didn't practice Friday or Saturday. But I think we needed that because you're fixing to take a long trip on Wednesday. So we went last night. We go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and walk through Wednesday. Okay, so I wish it was Saturday. I do. I wish it was Thursday, Saturday for this first one. I think it helped us from the standpoint of we've traveled there before. We know we've dressed in the locker room of a non-conference opponent and stuff. So maybe those things that create some familiarity, but it's still they're ranked where they are for a reason. They got good players, and I'm sure their mindset is making a deep making a run at that national championship, and so be a good test for us.
Well, their mindset is probably big time revenge on you guys from what you did.
Oh yeah, I
So
mean
that adds a little extra.
yeah, oh, no doubt about it. I mean that'll be those kids that played in that game. I mean I'm sure that's motivation wise that's kind of takes care of itself, but. I don't know how many new players they've got. We've got a lot of new players. We've got a lot of new players that didn't play in that game last year. Okay, so new environment for them. They don't have that same memory, so sometimes it just kind of takes care of itself.
Can Zach Wallace repeat that performance against Western Illinois, against the Missouri
Yeah.
State? Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily 139 yards, but can he get
Yeah.
out there and still get some meaningful yards from line?
Well, it's probably not so much of a question for Zach Wallace as it is the offensive line. Because if the holes are there, Zach's got good vision, he's got good size and good speed. I think it's more, a credit or a challenge to the offensive line to give him opportunity to get his feet down at the second level. That'll be what the challenge will be this week.
In this modern era of transferring when things just don't work out, how enjoyable, satisfying was it for you? I mean, Dresser had his first start since 2018 last
Mhm.
week at our home field.
Yeah.
How important and satisfying was that to see him make the plays he did and do the things he did to be able to really see him live up to what he really wanted to do?
No, it was satisfying. He's paid his dues and went through some unfortunate injuries, and I was thinking this weekend not only about his situation, but you see some other kids, and it's hard to believe that even the kid at Georgia, Stetson Bennett, this is I think I heard him say it correctly, his first game, the first time to start the home opener or the opener. And the guys won a national championship and been there through a lot of times. So it is real rewarding. sometimes, whether it be injuries, timing plays so much part of life and sports. And, so hopefully, Dresser's memories will come of how he finishes this thing, and we're looking forward to it. And it was good to get Quad in the game, get him some experience with us. I mean, he's played a lot of football in his career before he got here, but I thought it was important to get him, when the game was still in hand, to get him some quality snaps, and, he'll be there for us going forward.
For the new guy in the room, and these guys have tried to explain to me Dresser's
Yeah.
career, and I still can't connect the dots.
Right.
You've got to connect the dots for me, just
Yeah.
on a Cliff Notes version of just
Yeah.
his career.
His freshman year started 5 games. I believe he went the last 5 games. I believe he went 3-2 as a starter. Comes back the next year as a starter and has some success. We struggled that year, but he was having some success in the past game. But I think it was game 5 or 6 against Eastern Illinois, game 5 maybe, that he went down with a shoulder injury on just a one-on-one tackle. So he was out the rest of the season and really was not well the whole next season, as just the coming off the shoulder labrum surgery. Then let's see, and then that was so the next one's 220, right? That was 2019. He was still shoulder. 2020 was the spring. John Backus was back as our established starter. They were still splitting time a little bit, and he breaks an ankle against Austin Peay. So he was out the rest of that spring, and then going into this season, last year's season, it was all the way up until game 9, 10, or 11 to where, he could actually even protect himself. And the SEMO game played a little bit and scored a touchdown, and awkward to see him running the end zone. And then the next game against Missouri State was his first start of last year. So, like I said, he's probably started, Alex, in his career,
12 games.
13 games.
He
And
punted too.
yeah, one year, when was that, 18? 18.
20 when he,
Right.
30 was our primary punter.
Yeah, and he had some conference recognition and stuff as a punter, had a good average. So just a great teammate, great ambassador for the program. Already graduated, worked on his master's in ag business. The team thinks a lot of him as a person and as a teammate, and so it was enjoyable and rewarding, to see him have some success.
Thursday night, when you got into tempo, you did something we haven't seen a whole lot. To me, it just seemed like we played a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
The Dresser looked insanely comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't guess that's a surprise to you, but
Mhm.
why shouldn't it be a surprise to folks like us, for someone like Dresser,
Mhm.
who's been here so long, but just to get in that rhythm with
Yeah.
tempo without a lot of starts?
Well, we've practiced that a lot, and it's still in our menu, every week, and that goes when you are able to run the ball, and that was pretty conducive the other night. You were able to for us to be able to that particular week. We were getting some unbalanced sets and able to hand the ball off to Zach and sprinkle in some throws and stuff. But yeah, it is. He handles it well, does a good job in practice with it. But like I said, it's not good for your defense, right? When you're going 3 and out, and then they got to go back out there on the field. That will never change and stuff. But no, that's one thing about having an experienced quarterback is that, as long as everybody else can keep up with him. When I mean that, I mean the receivers, with different alignments and stuff. It allows us to be, I hate to say different every week, but it allows us to be creative. And because he can see stuff in his head, there's conversations we've had years past that, this is like, remember 2018, remember 2019? So that is comfortable. And there's things you wouldn't do with that stuff. Quad's probably, run all those different things before, but maybe not in our verbiage. So that's the challenge of that. But no, you're right. It is comfortable, and Dresser's good at it, has a good feel for it.
One more.
Mhm.
You got John, who's got a baby,
Yeah.
like you said, and missed a little bit of time this week
Mhm.
in preparation. Your lineman's in a wedding. You got a quarterback, a local guy that's stuck out through some things. Can you just kind of talk about how that speaks to what you've tried to build here in your own time?
Yeah. Well, it's things that there's other things besides football. I mean, there is. And so, these kids, they know I mean, they know I, went and saw Ty play Saturday and stuff, and those things are important to me and my family, and these kids have other things besides football, and football is important to them. But there's things that there's times I'll tell them, no, you need to be there for that, and and there's other times that it's their decision, okay, and that's part of it. But it doesn't come up a whole lot, but it is rewarding to have different conversations with guys, whether it be about their spiritual walks or their family situations or decisions they're making. Those are things that don't show up on the scoreboard, but they're part of the relationships that you get to have as a coach, that you have to determine, is this part of your calling, is to be involved in kids' lives and to be an adult, figure for them. I enjoy it, and that's why I enjoy the college game, because those are rewarding part of their life journeys, and so hope that never changes.